Let's get into your role as a caregiver. Some people have never done this before, they have no idea what to expect. I unfortunately had been a part time caregiver helping out with other family, grandmothers, and things like that throughout my life. And I say unfortunately because you always want your people to be well. You don't want to have to take care of them, but at the same time, if they need the help, you're going to be there for them, right? But for some people, this is their first time. And first thing, it's important to know that you have to take care of yourself. A lot of caregivers get caught up in doing so much for the other person that they forget and neglect their own health and wellness. You cannot be there for anyone else if you are not there for yourself. And that's period. There's no question. People will ask you, have you had any chances to rest? Have you, maybe called in respite care where someone else comes in and take over for you so that you can maybe take a nap, maybe take a couple of hours to watch a movie, read a book, go for a ride, go to lunch or something like that. People will ask you that. People will probably hound you to get some rest because they are correct. You do not want to take your own self out trying to help someone else because that creates an imbalance. That is an imbalance. And the universe and all the things love balance. Okay. There may be occasions where you might have to go in a little bit extra for someone else, the loved one that you are caring for. There may be times where you have to do a little bit extra, but there are times where you will need to carve out at that extra space for yourself. So you have to sit and think about and determine, and you may have to be creative with this. How are you going to carve out time for yourself so that you can reset, rejuvenate so that you can show up in full capacity for all the other things and the loved one that you're caring for, right? And so keep that in mind, keep that at top of mind because countless caregivers don't. And later on, they end up sick. They end up overstressed. You know, you don't want that. And this is the other piece. In my other video, I mentioned to you about holistic wellness. I happen to be in the wellness arts, okay? And we're talking energetics, and this is real. This is also science. I apologize. This is also science. When you are taking care of yourself and you are well, that energy that you create for yourself radiates from you out to everyone around you in your environment. That includes the person that you are caring for. You want to feel well and uplifted in your heart. And I always say, lead with your heart, do all things from your heart. Even if you feel like you're in the trenches, turn on your heart center and allow that to lead, and your mind and everything else will follow. Okay? When you are doing that, you are actually accessing more of your superpower. And it's how we are designed. We are all intelligently designed as human beings. We are also spirit in human form. So remember, as you are going through this with your loved one, you want to access that piece of yourself. That is what's going to help you sustain. That's what's going to help you with your own healing, and also in turn automatically help your loved one. That is very important. Now, as far as, let me think of what's next. Sometimes, as taking care of loved one, for example, if you have a spouse and you're taking care of them, well, everything else in the household can also fall in your lap. And sometimes you can get inundated with all of the tasks and the schedule of it all that you can forget to be the spouse. And for some people, that can actually, like if it's your loved one, if your spouse, if you're caring for your spouse, they can see a change in the relationship. And while it is somewhat of a change in the dynamic of the relationship, you are still spouses. They're still expecting not just the caregiver love, but the love of the person that they married, or, whatever, dating, whatever it might be. It could be parental, if it's a parent and you are a child taking care of a parent, it's the same thing. So do what you can to sometimes allow the things that are on the schedule to take a back seat. Maybe reschedule something, and then in that place add something for just you and your loved one to do together as two people who love and care for each other, whether it's, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, parent, child, whatever it might be. Do that and try to do that a few times a week. Maybe just, for example, say Saturdays or even Sundays. Be like, what, we're going to have movie day or movie hour, or maybe every day for like an hour and a half, you guys watch some sort of TV, or maybe you read together, or if you're into prayer or something like that, you pray. If you're into music, you can sing or listen to music and sing along, or whatever it is, have conversations and just do little fun things. And this is where you're going to be called to be more creative. You're going to be called to be more creative in how you do, depending on what, how much of a care giving aspect or role that you're in. For example, with my loved one, he is 100% dependent on other people. So he's unable to fully, completely speak and express everything that he wants to express. His intellect and everything is there, his personality is there, but when it comes to the stroke, impacted his speaking. So when it comes to that, he may not be able to say, hey, I want to do this, I want to do this, this, and this. But the person, what they loved and they enjoyed. So he loves music, he loves good movies, he loves classic film, he loves comedy, those types of things. He loves singing. Even if this is the thing too, with losing the voice or losing the ability to express through communication, singing, people tend to remember, and that actually tends to help people's communication come back online. It is important to connect in that way so that they realize that there's still love and that they're not a burden. And it also helps them with their own will. Sometimes people will have feelings of not wanting to participate. Maybe they're tired. So you have an understanding of that, because that comes with it. Lots of sleeping, tiredness, maybe some anger, maybe some sadness. Find grace, have grace for it, hold space for them, and call on the help. I always say call for help if you need it. And if the person needs a moment to just be, then allow them to be. If they're an adult, they have the capacity to make decisions. If the answer is no, however that looks, whether it's through an expression or an action, where they're stopping you from doing something, then you have to allow that to be a no for now. Give them a minute and then come back. That's how that goes, because they are exercising their right to decide. And sometimes as caregivers, we know what's best, because we do. We do know what's best. We're doing our best to make sure that they are protected and loved and nurtured and all of that. But they also have an inner knowing, an inner wisdom, an inner intuition. And sometimes it's saying, not right now. And so we have to accept that and respect it. Okay, but those are the things that I wanted to share here. I feel like I'm missing some things, but this, like I said, this channel is going to include all of the stuff. I'm just giving you everything as it comes to me and that I feel is going to be helpful and useful. Okay. But the key takeaways here is knowing that your loved one, the person that you're caring for has the opportunity and the option to make decisions. If they're in that space to make decisions, then accept it and respect it, and also extend grace and understand that this is something new for everyone, and give them the room. And then the other piece is also make room for you and your loved one to also connect the way that you used to, and do things that you both connect on and enjoy together. And then the other piece is to make sure you are taking full care of yourself. And I know sometimes it's easier said than done, but it is a must. It is paramount. It is number one, because if you don't do that, nobody else is going to do it for you, and you can't help anybody unless you help yourself. And you want to be well, so that wellness transfers out to everyone and into your environment. Okay? All right, I'll see you in the next one.